What is up, guys? It's George Machado here with Pro Play Games, and we are back from the Orlando 5K, and unfortunately not a top this time, but something very unique that a lot of players at the event were really asking for was the deck profile and deck breakdown of our special Sun Goten deck. So Sun Goten, a leader that many people don't really consider meta at all or even playable. We decided to take it as our surprise pick for the weekend. We're going to show you the deck list and explain to you why. So Sun Goten, the leader of choice for this event, me and Rio specifically really collabed to make this as competitive as possible. And the reason why was, one, it was of course not even on the radar for a deck. Two, this was the most powerful leader to utilize the Unwavering Solidarity Shigesh super combo, which a lot of players, after analyzing the top 32 decks, only one player had a time control Chronoa in the sideboard. So because that's what happens with a lot of these silver bullet cards, of course your side deck is going to be as optimal as possible. Sometimes you really can't cover, you can't cover every single matchup. So in this case, we saw that out of all silver bullet-ish type cards, Kami, Dende, etc., Chronoa would be the least used of them all. So of course, without Chronoa in the format, then Shigesh becomes increasingly better and better. Now with Sun Goten, what's really powerful as well, just having it as the leader ability, is the auto is attacking a leader card, draw a card, which is not the best. You want to have an auto that when it attacks, period, draw a card. But it still it has a potential to draw anyways. You just have to attack the leader, which is okay, not the best. To Awaken is also very weak. You would like this Awaken to be untap 2. There obviously are some yellow leaders that can untap 2, but we felt this was the best only because of its Awaken untapping 1. The really trade-off that you're really playing this leader for is the Activate main. The Activate main is not the best, but it's actually very, very powerful and very relevant, especially in this format. You can only do this effect once per game, but you pretty much take a life to add any extra card from your deck to your hand. So you can add Successor, Flying Nimbus, Bad Ring Laser, Planet Vegeta. There's many different extra cards that are good in certain matchups as well. So it's definitely something that lets you start off, and also kind of like takes away that problem that Storm normally has, or decks with the swap engine normally have, that they don't have the 1-drop or they don't have the 2-drop. This kind of just makes sure that you have one piece or the other with Planet Vegeta or Successor. So that's pretty much it for the leader's front side. Back side, same thing when it attacks, draw a card. Now the auto ability on this backside is actually very good, specifically against Storm or the 1-2 swap aggro decks, is because you can actually just discard any card from your hand, and that essentially becomes your bean for the turn. He becomes a 20k leader for the rest of the turn. So essentially just a pseudo bean type ability. Could only happen once per game, unfortunately, but usually you've got to have just a strong board. You pass turn and you just make sure you don't die, and they usually have game on the swing back. So that's what made this leader specifically very powerful. Now for the deck, first off, of course, the reason why we even took a look at Sun Goten leader is of course because of the Unwavering Solidarity Shigesh. This is a card a lot of new players first didn't know about. A lot of people, some people had to read, and the people that did play with it really just put it to the back of their minds because of Chronoa being around. Now this super combo doesn't draw you a card or anything like that, but when you're at 4 life or less, when you activate the super combo, you can actually play any Saiyan with cost 3 or less. So since this card's printing, there's been a lot of good targets, which I'm going to show you later in the deck, but because this card has the power of cheating cards into play, we were able to not play blue at all in this deck, so no Senzu Bean and no Unyielding Trunks. Now the reason why we played those, the targets are right here. 2 very powerful cards, some of the most powerful standalone cards. Without being 3 energy, they're the strongest options in the whole game. You have Son Goku, 30k attack, and you have Great Saiyaman, which is also a Saiyan, off color, but it is a Saiyan. So this Son Goku is good for energy if you need to energy it, but unfortunately there's not any yellow 30k Saiyan card. There's only Ginyu. So we had to play Great Saiyaman. Great Saiyaman, a perfect target for Shigesh as well. So these are mainly the cards that you want to bring out of Shigesh. They're just very powerful and they really just demand extra cards from your opponent. Now, next card, of course, the Goku's Lineage package that you have to play really for any deck like this to really function, and for these to be as crucial as possible is to get your opponent down to 4 life. How do you do that? Well, you just do it with your good old 1-2 swap package. So we're playing 2 Son Gohans as the blockers, and you know, pseudo Bardoks that don't take you a life. We do have 4 Bardock, of course. That's pretty self-explanatory. You need him to start the package, and like I said, with this deck is very good because you can always start with Bardock if you want to. 4 Gotens, of course, just helps you find cards, especially because this is more of a combo deck than Storm normally, because you need your super combo needs a good target for you to actually do anything. So to find that, the Son Goten really comes in clutch. 3 of the dependable Dynasty Son Goku. This guy's just really powerful. 15k is just really good, and he could actually swap into 3, which is why we played 3. Normal decks play 1 or 2, but we played 3 because we actually have targets for him. We have Ultimate Potential, Super Saiyan 2 Son Gohan, and Power Charge Bardock. Now these are both Goku's lineage of energy cost 3, which dependable Dynasty Son Goku, swap doesn't use this ability at all, but for 2 yellow you can actually swap into one of these 3 drops. So very powerful. This can kill any tapped card, and this can actually, it's like the Gohan from back then, the ability Unleashed. You can attack the auto after negates. You can choose to draw a card or double strike. So it's a good utility inherent double striker, or if your opponent negates his attack, you can just draw a card. It's also a Bardock name for our Bardock game. So very powerful choices, and the Ultimate Potential is not only a successor target, not only is it a target for dependable Dynasty Son Goku swap, but it's also a target for the Shigesh. So Shigesh can bring this out and just kill your opponent's combo cards. Very good specifically against Storm, especially if they don't see it coming or they see no copies of that. And the reason why we played more of the Explosive Spirit Son Goku, even though they essentially do the same thing, and he's not a swap, is because he's actually a barrier blocker. So essentially, the game plan against swap is, you know, Shigeshing this out. This can kill 1 attack, so you essentially stop 1 attack, and then him himself being a barrier blocker is an automatic stop of another attack. So you can stop a mirror, you can stop a leader swing, whatever you need to stop with Explosive Son Goku. You can also attack too if you really need to. But. And then the supporting cast here would be the 3 Genes. Gene, you're playing an above average number of Bardock names, so it's a little bit easier to summon in this deck. So we're playing 3. We're also playing the Bardock Ape right next to Gene too, so 2 Bardock Apes. Very powerful. It also goes over Power Charge Bardock, which is super relevant. Next, for the extra cards, and these are the cards that you can get off your leader ability really, is 4 Successor of Hope. 4 Successor of Hope, more than 3, because this is not like Hirudegarn or any other type of leader like Krillin that sees 2 cards a turn. You only see 1 card a turn with this leader. So you really want to make sure that you see Successor. And like I said, you don't always want to get Successor with Goten, so you just want to be able to have the ability to draw it. It's also one of the best yellow energy. Also, you have a lot of different targets like this Gohan and the dependable Dynasty Son Goku and the Gohan in the mirror match, things like that. So this is just the ultimate toolbox card, and you want to really max out on it because of that. And then we have 2 Planet Vegeta. 2 Planet Vegeta is very good. It gets you any Saiyan, so essentially gets you any card in your whole deck. If you need an Explosive Son Goku, if you need literally anything, even if you need one of the big 30Ks to summon off Shigesh, Planet Vegeta will be there for you. Also very good with the Ape, so that you can restand it. Then we got 3 Flying Nimbus, of course, very good in the mirror against Pure Storm. Especially because they run out of gas a lot faster. You actually go over the top of Storm, so having Nimbus can be even more of a payoff in this deck because you can really utilize your turns even if they do Nimbus you back, because you have a 30k. So they're usually just going to Nimbus you, you hit them with the 30k, they're going to have to eat it, and if they're at 1 life, they're pretty much dead. For the overall package, we had Trunks Power Overseeing Time. Now this is much of a slower of a deck, so you normally go off turn 3, turn 4 or something. Most likely turn 4, but against slower decks turn 3. But against Storm you usually get to turn 4. This card's really good because it just reuses a Shigesh, and it can actually buy back anything that you need, but Shigesh is normally like your main target. He's also an inherent double striker, so having an inherent double striker in this deck other than Bardock and Bardock, it's just always good to have. And then of course, what is an aggro deck without Mira and Champa? Hidden Power E Supreme Kai is our Champa, giving any battle card double strike, and Mira, of course, self-explanatory, one of the biggest base attackers in the game. And because we have so many big base attackers, it just adds more pressure to your opponent. So we have our free 30Ks, and then we have our 30K base here, which is normally scales up to, you know, at least 55, or at least 50, I'm sorry, if you have 4 in the overroam in the warp. So that's pretty much the deck. It was really solid. I would probably make a change with like one bad ring in the main board, and maybe one Sun Goten in the main board. It just seems really good, especially to hedge against Storm. But other than that, it was pretty good. Unfortunately, we were not able to place it in the top cut. We had 3 of us playing it at the event, me, Rios, and Juan. And I lost my winning in like the round before, so maybe like round 6. And Rios lost his like round 5. Unfortunately, Cronoa was in a lot of people's boards, unfortunately. Even though we did our research and homework to make sure that it wasn't. But that's pretty much the 50 card deck. Sideboard wasn't too relevant. There was just some extra copies, maybe Mirror or Chopper or anything like that. But yeah, that was it. So yeah, that was pretty much it. The deck performed very, very good. It was something that me and Rios really worked a lot towards. It was a risky meta call. Unfortunately, it did bite us in the behind. It is really, you know, heads or tails on really when decisions like this really pay off. Unfortunately, we did see a large amount of Cronoas, and especially from the Storm decks, which is where it really bites you. Normally seeing a Cronoa from a slow deck like Shenron won't really matter too much, just because they're really an inherent aggro deck. You're a little bit more mid-rangey because you play it a little bit slower, but it is an aggro deck at the end of the day. It was something that wasn't Storm, which is why we really wanted to play it. Looking back at it, Storm was the correct play, or something like Jonathan's deck, which was inherently much better against Storm and just overall better against the entire field, even though it might have a weak Shenron matchup. So going into Orlando, we thought there was going to be a lot more participants, maybe a little bit more variety of decks, but showing up at Orlando, there was only 100 participants, and a large amount of them were very competitive players that actually chose to take Storm to the event. So that's something that, you know, should have been in our favor, but unfortunately a lot of them were using some iteration of Jordan Markle's deck, which was siding Cronoas, even though there was not much Shigesh in the main in any deck whatsoever that has done well in the past since Cronoa was printed. So really cool deck though. Definitely take it to a local. I would not suggest taking this to an event because it is a risky call. Shigesh makes it almost impossible for you to win. But at the end of the day, it is an aggro deck, so you can get there sometimes, maybe. You know, it really just depends. But we will be profiling this a little bit more in depth on the Patreon. So if you want to go on there, check it out. I know Marcel's been posting a lot of content. Peter's been posting a lot of content. We're gonna go and throw this deck on there as well. And we usually break down a little bit more on like what cards are good against certain matchups and etc, etc. So if you really want to take this game professionally and take your game to the next level, then definitely check out our Patreon. It's going to be down in the links below. PPG DBS is the name of the Patreon, so definitely check it out. Other than that, Pro Play Tour is the only big thing for 2019 so far. It might be in the intro video. If not, it's on ppgeventmanagement.com. You're going to see Pro Play Tour for January, February, and then we have the Celebration Bandai event in March, as well as the Pro Play Tour for other games in March as well too. So second quarter is going to be announced soon, so if you didn't see your home state, home city, don't be discouraged. We'll definitely be coming on our second quarter announcement coming soon. So thank you guys again for your love and support. For those of you who asked for the deck profile, here it is. I usually don't do deck profiles for events that we completely scrub out, but nonetheless, Jonathan Rodriguez, your Orlando champion. PPG still taking it back, him carrying the whole team on the back. one of 2 players that actually topped the entire event. So thank you guys again for watching. Till next time, peace.